What's up, guys, and welcome back to episode 3 of a brand new podcast. I'm here with my friend Cody.
Hello.
How has your week been, Star Wars-wise?
It has been... I was anticipating that trailer to come out, but
we were lied to.
I know.
Literally all of the leakers on Twitter were just like, we're going to get a podcast. We're going to get a trailer for the second season of The Mandalorian. It's going to be awesome. And it never came. Sad boy.
My heart has been broken. It's okay. I feel my heart crack.
Well, we should get one eventually. It should be this month.
Yeah. I saw a news article said that it would either be yesterday or Saturday, because Saturday is when the Star Wars celebration is supposed to happen.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So it would make sense that they would drop it on Saturday.
Yeah,
I've heard that a little bit, but I didn't know that that's when Celebration was supposed to happen.
Yeah, but it was supposed to happen during the basketball game, is what I heard.
Yeah, too. It was going to be the second quarter of the Lakers Trailblazers game, and I was hearing before the same outletters that had reported that we were getting one, that it wasn't going to happen, that it may not happen, and at that point I decided not to even tune into the game. Because it was okay, if the same leakers that are saying, we're going to get this trailer are now saying, we may not get the trailer and we haven't heard anything official, I'm just not going to watch because I'm betting that we won't get it. And we didn't.
I heard it was either going to be on ESPN or it was going to be on ABC. Like ESPN yesterday or ABC on Saturday. But
yeah, they've done stuff for ABC before. It'll be here
Disney
eventually.
owns both.
Yeah. So. What doesn't Disney own?
Universal.
There you go. But they even own parts of Universal.
That's Marvel. It's been. I was thinking Universal Studios.
Yeah.
There's a ton of Marvel rides on there, and now it's Anyhow.
Yeah. Disney is the overlord. Disney and Amazon. They're gonna conquer the world.
Who will own the other one first?
I think Disney has more of a chance of owning Amazon.
It's a valid point.
I don't know. Amazon's massive, too.
That's true.
Who cares?
I don't.
I just want good Star Wars. So, as always, my friends, we're going to answer your questions on Twitter. We love doing this. Initially, we were going to kind of put a time allotment on how long we're going to answer each question for, but we decided to throw that out the window because if it's an interesting topic, why not talk about it a little bit more? And again, if you guys want to answer questions on the next podcast or have your questions answered rather on the next podcast, follow me on Twitter at @stupendousswave. Every time I'm about to record a podcast, I tweet it out. And your question, as we're a little bit smaller right now, we got 10,000 views on the last podcast, which was deleted, unfortunately, by YouTube. Don't know what happened there. Trying to figure that out. But maybe it's back up by now. But the last one got 10,000 views nonetheless, so we just want to thank you guys for our first episode to get 10,000 views. That's no small feat, and it's all because of you and your willingness to listen and interact. And another thing that I love to do and you love to do is going through the comments at various points of time during the podcast. And okay, when did somebody call me an idiot and what were they talking about? All that stuff. It's super fun. Anyway, let's get into your questions. So first off, we have from Edward Acorn. He asked, what moment in Star Wars, either if it was in the films or a TV series, would you consider horrifying? Example, in a sense, or etc. In a sense of sadistic moments or scary horror or sad in general.
I think most of the scenes in the original trilogy with Darth Sidious are pretty scary, just because of the way he looks, the way that they made him look, and the way that they made his voice sound, and just thematically that's pretty scary to me. That's the first one I can think of. There's some other ones, but I'll let you go next.
I just think of the Darth Vader hallway scene.
Yeah, that was the next one I was thinking of.
It's super obvious that that's the one everybody's gonna pick, but it feels like a horror movie. It's shot like a horror movie, but this idea that Vader is just so leagues and above any of these poor rebels that are just laying down their lives to get the Death Star plans to Leia, but they stand no chance. He's like the boogeyman.
Most people would be thinking that they would never... Most of those rebels would think that they would never ever see him, but then, I don't know, just watching over that scene again... I remember
it gives you the idea of what it would be like for a Force wielder to encounter somebody that doesn't use the Force.
Yeah, and just the fact that they were screaming like let me in, like
or help us,
or help us. That's what it was. And then I don't know, the one where Darth Vader puts the guy on the ceiling and then just like cuts through his midsection.
Yeah, you were telling me the other day why that's awful.
Because that's such a painful way to die. Most of the guys in there died of horrible, painful deaths. Like the ones that got their
heads cut off.
Like if they got their blaster, if it got beamed back at them, they had it easy. Whereas the person that got cut down the midsection, he didn't get cut all the way through. And the lightsaber cauterizes everything, so he's not going to bleed out necessarily yet. I don't know. That was a horrifying scene.
It's scary. It gives you an idea of, like I said, the power of Vader, the raw power. And he's going to take no prisoners, and how these people stand no chance.
And I love how probably in the future people will know about that scene, but then they'll be like, what movie was that from?
Yeah, that's so true, because it's like the one notable scene. I mean, Vader's castle is cool. There's moments in Rogue One, but
I liked Rogue One as a movie. I liked it, but
me too. But I mean, you think of it for the Vader scenes. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
Valid point.
Everything, all the other characters are interesting, but also like throwaway. Like, whose favorite character is Jyn Erso?
No.
I
mean, my favorite character from that movie
is K2. K2SO.
Yep.
That's an all. He's coming back for Cassian Andor.
I know. That's the only reason I'm excited for that series.
I'm not excited at all.
I like K2, and I'll be happy to see more of him. But as for more of the horror elements, I feel like there's a couple of them in the Clone Wars too, but I just can't.
Horrifying moments. Do you remember when Maul returns and he like attacks that Outer Rim planet full of innocent people? And he burns the village to the ground. And, like, you see him execute, like, 3 innocent villagers. Do you remember that?
Was this in Clone Wars?
Yeah, season 4.
What?
He does it to draw ObiWan out. It's the
first...
Oh,
yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, and they said that Clone Wars was made for kids.
It's not.
It's not made for kids.
But, yeah, Maul and Savage destroy this town to try to get Kenobi to come. And they're successful. And that moment where he's standing and he's giving his speech to Kenobi and the like village is burning behind him. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
No. I don't remember that off the top of my head. But I'm sure when I'm editing this, I'm going to go back and be like, oh, yeah.
And it's like Obi-Wan receives confirmation that it is in fact Maul. It's not just someone else, but it's actually Darth Maul back from the dead. That's a great, horrifying moment.
I remember him saying, it can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then him finally being like, it is you. And he says something like, I beat you before and I can do it again.
Yeah.
And then Savage shows up and just pummels Obi-Wan. Poor guy. Obi-Wan, man. He goes through so much. It's awful. Obi-Wan is the homie. And he just goes through so much pain that it's so sad. I don't know.
I mean, he probably is responsible for most of the artificial limbs in
Star Wars. He's responsible for most of Vader, half of Maul. Who else? Is that it? I'm sure Obi-Wan's been known to cut off a hand or two in the past.
Yep. He's
boss.
Awesome.
What do you think of the Wampa cave scene in Empire?
I don't think of that as... I mean...
Because to me, that's horrifying.
Well, I think that's a... Is it dark in there? I forget. No, it's not dark. Because that's one of the things... When I think of horror, I think of dark. But now thinking back on that specific scene...
Luke's hanging upside down. He's like being refrigerated for later.
There's a feeling of helplessness.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can see how you would think that'd be horror. I never thought of it because I know that there's a bit of blood from when like the Wampa's eating stuff.
Yeah,
too. And that's like. Ugh.
I think it looks horrible. I think it looks so scary. Or it's like when Luke's out on patrol and he's like the Tauntaun is freaking out. He's like, "What's wrong, girl? You smell something?" And then the Wampa just like shoves its like claws into the Tauntaun and it falls over and then drags Luke back to its lair.
Yeah, I don't. I remember watching that. I remember seeing that. I don't think of that as horror, but I could see how you would think it would be, yeah.
What do you think about this? How would you feel about a Star Wars movie that is a horror film? And a plot would be like rebel survivors from Hoth are stranded on the planet as like now Wampas are starting to infiltrate the base.
I could see that being
and they have to like
really cool.
venture out of the base sometime, and they encounter some other horrors. But it's like a survival Bigfoot horror movie in the Star Wars universe.
I could see that, and there's like a period. It's in that period of time, like the winter season for that, where there's not a whole lot of sunlight, so it's like very dark. I can see that being.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
That would be really cool.
I mean, there's zombies in Star Wars. Do you remember the Geonosian worms?
It's exactly what I was thinking of. The next thing is as a horror element because of that episode, because there were the zombies, the Geonosian zombies, where the worm was making them come back to life. Mm-hmm. And then they get to the boss queen or whatever.
Or in Star Wars Rebels when or also in Clone Wars and in Rebels, like all the Dathomir stuff, like Mother Talzin, like the old grandma Night Sister brings all the dead Night Sisters back to life to fight off Grievous. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Star Wars is freaking weird, bro.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
I love how so many elements are in the Star Wars universe.
It's a creepy boy. It is a creepy boy. Or it's like the I think the Rancor's scary.
That's another one that popped into my mind is the Rancor pit, because that was the dark, scary, ominous feeling.
And you don't know what's down there.
Yeah.
You just know that Jabba is really excited, and so is everybody else in the palace, because something's about to go down, and you're just like, what is about to go down here? Like, why is everybody so excited? And then the Rancor shows up, and it's massive. It kills the Gamorrean guard. Mm-hmm. Ugh.
Yeah.
So cool.
But they even did some foreshadowing when he threw the Twi'lek down there, too.
Yeah. Poor Twi'lek. Twi'leks get it so bad.
Yeah.
They're one of the most popular slave species in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Poor Twi'leks. So, should we move on?
Yeah, next one.
Nathan Rasmussen says, what would your trade be in... Oh, sorry. Was this a Star Wars only session because I'm about to be very, very depressed? Here's my question. Had the roles been reversed or everything occurred the same way, what would have happened if ObiWan was a Padawan turned Jedi protecting his loved one Satine? Like, what if he stayed on Mandalore? Is that the question? Or had their roles been reversed and everything occurred the same way, what would have happened if Obi-Wan was the Padawan turned Jedi protecting his loved one Satine? I'm going to assume what if Obi-Wan stayed with Satine? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not sure.
Man, because he said if she had just given...
If she had asked, he would have stayed.
I don't know. You know probably more about what potentially could have or would have happened.
I mean, you don't have him with Qui-Gon, then you don't really have a suitable replacement to train Anakin. If Qui-Gon is still killed by Maul. I mean, who do you have train Anakin? Mace Windu? That could be interesting. Does Anakin grow to hate Mace Windu in that point of view? Like, does he despise him even more, and Mace Windu distrusts him, but also distrusts him closer? Because I don't see, even if Mace Windu trains Anakin, I don't see Mace Windu fully trusting Anakin no matter what.
Would they have even... Because it would have just been... Probably Qui-Gon that would have found Anakin.
Yeah, but then I'm just saying I'm assuming Qui-Gon still dies by Maul.
I don't know. This is like
they still would have found Anakin. They still would have. Mm-hmm. But I still think I'm assuming Qui-Gon would have been able to kill Maul. But then again, if Obi-Wan's not there, then Maul's still around, and Palpatine still has Maul.
Yeah, that'd be.
It'd be cool, like which is what should have happened.
I feel like that's such a drastic change. That it's hard to fathom.
And then it's like, does Obi-Wan come back eventually when stuff goes really wrong for the Jedi? Who's to say?
I don't know.
It's a good question. It's something that I would have to dedicate more time to.
Yeah, something that would need a lot of deep thought and research.
This comes from Classic Action Figures.
Heck yeah. Love action figures.
What do you think should be the next Star Wars animated series? My friend.
Honestly, I think that's something that would be harder to put into film. Like, I would think... Okay, I'm trying to think of a way to word this. Like, I feel like it would hard to put... Like, let's say...
I feel like it would hard to put...
You know what? I'm trying to think of what to say. Let's say there's like a backstory to like General Grievous back when he was Kamen Jai Shalal. Like that would be cool.
Like a full one, like a full series.
Not a full series, but I mean, I'm just throwing ideas. Like this would be a lot more expensive to put into film rather than
an animated medium.
That or like Darth Revan. Darth Revan series. I mean, it would obviously be really cool to have it in film, but it's like, I would settle for an animated series.
Right.
Or just something that, I don't know, something that's a bit more deep lore that we don't really know a whole lot about that we would like to. That would be really expensive and really difficult to put into film.
So you would want like an Old Republic thing.
I think an Old Republic thing would be awesome. I think I would rather have that in film, though.
Me too.
Because that would be amazing in film versus like something that I would settle for. I mean, I think Darth Revan in film would be amazing too.
I have one.
What's that? Go ahead.
Ben Solo Luke Skywalker series.
Ben Solo.
Before The Force Awakens.
Oh, like how they grew up, how he grew up, and what their relationship was like.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, right.
That'd be kind of fun. And it's just like it answers a question that not many people really thought of. I mean, I never really would have thought of that, but then it's like, oh, hey, I don't know how deep it could go because he never really taught him much about the Force or anything like that. Yeah, he
did.
Oh, he did?
For years.
Just a little bit here and there about like what it was?
No, I mean like Ben Solo was Luke's apprentice. For
Ben
years.
Solo. Oh my goodness.
Who did you think I was talking about?
I thought of old Ben Kenobi for some reason.
What?
When you said Ben,
that makes no sense.
I'm
though,
sorry.
Cody.
I'm sorry. I've been put back into scrub status. Dang it! See a meter going down, and I'm just coming back.
Like your.
I thought it
like in 2K or like the NFL. Madden, where it's like your stats go down. Player.
Dang it! I worked so hard,
Cody.
Dang it! No, okay.
Are you okay?
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm not okay.
It's okay. You're learning.
On my game.
I can tell you're really pissed off at yourself.
No, I failed you. No.
I'm watching the audio just spike every time.
Oh man!
You banged the table at one point. Okay, Ben Solo.
Yes.
Kylo Ren.
Yes.
Okay. Guys, be nice to Cody in the comments.
I haven't had anybody be mean to me in the first comments. So
don't say that. Now they're going to want to be the first one. Don't you know how YouTube works?
No, I don't know how YouTube works.
Ben Solo Luke Skywalker series.
That would be cool. I agree. Now that I know what you're talking about, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it. All right.
I would love that so much. Like, to get to see, like, how Snoke and Palpatine is influencing Ben Solo, the adventures that they get to go on, and not to mention, I would get to have the Luke Skywalker that I wanted in The Last Jedi. Like an active Jedi Master, Jedi Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. And it would flesh out Luke's life. And it's
and
like...
what led to
The Force Awakens and why he left and everything.
Right.
It would tell the story.
And a bit deeper and more clearly. I agree. I think that would be really cool.
That's my favorite one. And I believe that there was a rumor that Disney wanted to do something with the Ben Solo character because he was so popular. And that's a way that, you could have them come back and you wouldn't have to have Mark Hamill and Adam Driver come back. You could do it in an animated setting because obviously you can't make Adam Driver like dress up like a little kid.
Right.
I think it would be so cool.
Yeah, and that's something that, animation you can get away with. Like, you don't have to, like, try and make an actor look younger. So I think...
You like the idea?
I like the idea. I think that would work really well, too.
Uh-huh. I think that a ton of people would tune in and watch it. I think it would be huge. And it's like, what Darksiders did Luke face? Mm-hmm. And, what led Ben Solo to ultimately become Kylo Ren? The Rise of Kylo Ren comic book is one of my favorites, where you need to read it. It's so good. Yeah,
I haven't quite gotten to comic book level yet, but...
What level are you at? Like video game level, you think?
I wish I had the money for video games. And a PC for video games. I just have a Mac, and that's not good for video games at all.
Well, should we move on to the next question?
I'm all for that.
All right.
It was a good question and a good discussion.
You just made an oopsie.
I did make an oopsie.
This comes from Vesco Filipov. What's your favorite relationship in Star Wars out of all 3 trilogies from the Skywalker saga, and why? I'm going to assume he means romantic relationships. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like Han and Leia because Anakin and Padme is creepy, and Rey and Ben is forced and not really a relationship.
Yeah. I would be with
Leia and Han by default.
By just default. Like, you mentioning that, I'm like, yeah.
Have you seen in Attack of the Clones when Anakin gives Padme, like, the creepy eye stare?
Is that one in the room?
Yeah, like, he does it a few times, I think.
Yeah, I was
in Attack of the Clones, not Revenge of the Sith. He does it in Revenge of the Sith, too. It's like, I get it. Anakin's like this all-powerful Jedi, and he's like super handsome, but like he's freaking weird.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the prequel trilogy that makes me feel is just, you know, how unnatural it felt too.
Yeah,
it felt very unnatural, and yeah, by far, Han Solo and Leia is way better.
Yeah, I mean,
by far,
it's a good relationship,
and it's one that lasted.
It evolves. It lasts. Well, it doesn't last. Like, they're not together in The Force Awakens.
Right, but it's something...
But that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like, it's in your mind, like, oh, they had a relationship for this period of time. Whereas the other ones just kind of fizzle out, and it's like, oh...
And they just go...
Yeah, and you're like, you don't develop any kind of, like,
and then with Rey and Kylo Ren, she kisses him, and it's like, what the hell? When did that happen?
It was just confusing.
Yeah.
You thought it was... You know, with Finn, and then you're like, but she doesn't, but he likes her, but she doesn't, and then there's Rose that gets thrown in there, and it's this weird love triangle thing.
When you watch The Rise of Skywalker and they have the kiss and then Ben falls over, did your audience laugh?
No, because we watched it in 3D, and we didn't watch it like on the day it came out, so there's like maybe 30 people total in the movie theater. But Kathy and I, we looked at each other and we were like, wait, what?
Yeah,
what?
It's funny because she kisses him and then he just like passes out and the music like swells to be all dramatic.
And then you just like lift.
It's just like,
what?
I was just like, oh, that didn't land.
No.
Some people think that it did land, but I'm of the impression of just like, that's weird. But it's not creepy. It's just not handled well.
It's just, yeah.
The Anakin Padme stuff is creepy, and then all of a sudden Anakin starts choking his wife in Revenge of the Sith, calling her a liar. You know.
I mean, it shows you that he was kind of he was just kind of disturbed. Moving on.
This comes from Angelo X Alt. Who is your favorite character from canon and Legends continuity that doesn't show up in the films or live action material? Thrawn.
I like Darth Revan.
Revan?
I think Revan is super cool. You know, his backstory is really cool.
I think
so cool.
Thrawn's in Rebels, but I think that Thrawn would be an amazing antagonist for a movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so too. I agree with you as well, but I like Darth Revan.
Yeah.
Better.
This question comes from Liam. I know I have missed the cut off, but why doesn't Gregor or Wolf appear in Rebels more? I don't remember. I think that they both... Wolf may go off, but Gregor dies, I believe. Really? I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and like watch it. This comes from MMA Lad. Where can we listen to the podcast? Well, if you're listening to it right now, you already know. I thought Cody was about to answer, not realizing.
YouTube.
Yep.
But we don't have it up on any other platforms. I know a lot of people have asked about that. But YouTube for right now, it just makes the most sense, and it's just the easiest to do. Jack
Salworth asks, favorite lightsaber hilt, color, and form?
That's all you, man.
You have no idea?
I mean, form, my favorite form is Form 2.
Form 2 Makashi?
The one that Dooku uses. And
right.
it's just so, I don't know,
it's refined. It's like a dance.
Yeah, it's almost like that. Never mind. I don't know the MMA. That's like where you're dancing but you're fighting at the same time.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, but some people will.
I'm not a martial artist.
But I like how classy it looks almost at the same time. You know,
it's very refined.
And it looks like they're very much controlling themselves or handling themselves.
Yeah,
and does the The Grand Inquisitor uses that too, doesn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and it just looks so smooth.
It's elegant, and it's a dueling form, which is that's a great pick. Who's got your favorite hilt? I like Palpatine's hilt. He's like one that's full of electrum, and it's just like very expensive in gold. It's so cool. It's so baller.
I don't know if I have a favorite hilt. I know that there's several different, kinds of lightsabers that I particularly like.
Oh, I love Kylo Ren's too. Like, that's just iconic now.
I don't know. I like it when they're different. I like it how...
Yeah.
The folding ones, almost like the butterfly, where they...
Yeah, rays. Dark rays.
Yeah, and doesn't Krell have one as well? Is it Krell? No, what?
Yeah, Pong Krell.
Yeah.
He has them too.
He has those too. And I don't know, just when I saw him with his lightsabers and the sound that they made, it was super cool.
Yeah, Pong Krell's lightsabers are so scary.
Yeah, because they're just... And it's like sounds so much different than other lightsabers that you generally hear. But I don't have a specific favorite hilt. I haven't gone that deep into.
That deep? What about your favorite lightsaber color?
I think my favorite lightsaber color actually is yellow.
Oh, me too.
Because
yellow and green.
Because of... it's a lot more rare. And also, I just love the way that it looks in and of itself. I mean, white is up there as well because of the meaning behind it. But I do like yellow. And I just love the way that... I don't really like Rey as a character that much, but when she, ignites her lightsaber and it's yellow, that's really cool. I also like the Temple Guards, how their lightsabers are yellow as well.
Yeah, the pikes.
It looks cool, and also the meaning behind that as well. But I'll let you explain.
I like the yellow and the green. What was it? And my favorite lightsaber form is probably Djemso, which is the dueling variant of Form 5 lightsaber combat.
Uh-huh.
That's what Vader and Anakin use. It's very like smashing through your opponent's guard, but it's not full on ferocity like Form 7. Right. It's for more wielders that are strong, physically strong.
Right.
And I also really like Sarisu, the all defensive form that ObiWan uses. But Form 7's cool. Like, you have Maul and Sidious that use Form 7. It's fun to watch. Mm-hmm. But I would say that my favorite's Djemso, for sure. And my favorite wielder of it is probably Malgus and Vader.
Makes sense.
They both use it differently. Because Vader's is more hybridized. It's like his own. Like, he uses pieces of other forms with his Form 5. But Malgus is straight up, like... If you wanted to look at what a Form 5 lightsaber duelist looks like, it's Darth Malgus. He's going to smash through your guard. He's going to kill you however he can. He's going to use physical strikes because he knows that he's super strong and super skilled. So he's just the boss.
Yeah.
Other questions. I just clicked off the page. I apologize. This one comes from Magic Mark YT. If the Old Republic were to be a TV show, who would be the villain, Vitiate or Nihilus? I see Nihilus being the villain of like the first season. Do you know much about Nihilus? He's the guy that destroys planets. He like sucks the force energy from them.
The way that I think of him is like almost like a force vampire, where he like sucks out the force.
He's kind of like that, only on like a massive scale.
I just think
he's like a ghost,
which is so.
It's cool. It's awesome.
Creepy,
I love it.
But at the same time, yeah.
I don't see Nihilus being like the overarching villain. I would see Nihilus being like a season 1 villain to set up something bigger. Mm-hmm. Like you could have like the force of nature in season 1, but then you have the guy behind the scenes that are pulling all the strings, and that would be Vitiate. Vitiate is one of the oldest Sith Lords. He's one of the most powerful. But I think that Nihilus is cool visually, but you have to have that guy pulling the strings. Mm-hmm. You have to have that guy that's in charge of, what is going on and is in control, and you don't even know it.
because Nihilus is more just about like himself and with the Force and things
Right.
like that. He's not about like attacking everybody to.
Well, he wants to consume everybody. He doesn't want to rule. So you got to have that final boss that's like a vitiate.
Right.
That's what I would say. But I think that they would both be interesting. I think Revan would be fun to see. You could see like Revan's redemption arc. And then eventually have him be a main character, like a hero at the end, and not like the villain that they face off against. I think that'd be awesome. This one comes from Maul Plays. What is the one thing you would change in Star Wars?
You passing it off to me first?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, there's some things, but the first one that comes to my mind, I would change Jar Jar Binks' character to be not so hateable. Like I would, because he plays a fairly valuable part, and I mean it's okay to have somebody that's naive that gets put into that part, but Jar Jar Binks is just so. It's like they added his character to put in a childish comical, like a childish comedy in it, like almost a cartoonish. He just does like cartoonish stuff. And that's. I feel like that's one of the big things why people don't like him, is they just made him derpy. It's like, or if they just made him somebody that's like
all of Star Wars. That's what you're changing.
Well, I don't know, because I feel like if we were to ask people that like Star Wars, who's your least favorite character? Like the majority of the people would say Jar Jar Binks.
I don't think they would anymore.
Really?
I think they would say like Rose Tico.
Well, okay, now that
because I mean, Rose is like a nothing, boring character. I'm not bored when Jar Jar's on screen. I understand Jar Jar's there to like please children, and that it didn't necessarily land. But I can think of characters that I would much less watch. What do you want to watch? Do you want to watch a show of Rose Tico, or do you want to watch a Jar Jar Binks?
Well, the thing is, Jar Jar Binks is still a big part of Star Wars, and he is a big part of Star Wars, and I would rather, make him slightly more likable.
Yeah.
Because
so you would
Tico,
change him a little bit. You would keep him.
I would keep him, but I'd change him a little bit, make him a little less. I would make him naive and still relatively dumb, but I make him less, unlikable. Whereas Rose Tico is such a tiny little speck of
but she's not. You just think she's a tiny little speck because you don't remember, which I would say is worse.
Really?
She's got a big role in The Last Jedi.
What
See what I'm saying?
What does she do?
She's the whole Canto Bight stuff, the whole casino, which I think is like the worst 30 minutes of Star Wars. They go to the casino play. You don't even remember, see?
Yeah, I mean, you have a point.
Remember, don't bow down to me. You said that you weren't going to.
I'm still sticking with what I say. I would change, Jar Jar Binks' character.
I think that Rose is so much worse.
I don't think of her as
she
that
crashes into Finn's speeder and kisses him.
That's a little weird.
That's
a little weird.
A little weird.
That's a little weird.
Is there any moment with Jar Jar that's that bad?
Well, it's not like moments with Jar Jar.
It's the character.
It's just who he is.
You see, like
I would send Jar Jar to therapy.
I don't ever roll roll my eyes when Jar Jar is on screen. Maybe when he steps in the poop and we're supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
But it's like when it has that zoom in shot of Rose as she's like running into Finn. I just lose it. Like I hate that. I hate it, especially with all the buildup of like. Finn's big sacrifice, and he's storming straight into this beam, and then Rose comes out of nowhere and just little cockpit, and she just smashes right into him. You're laughing.
Well, who would you rather do that? Like, how would you change that?
If Jar Jar did that, it'd be a million times funnier. You see what I'm saying, though? But you don't care if Rose does it.
I mean, she was just one of those characters that they're like, oh, we have an idea, let's run with it. Like they crammed, it's like they crammed the idea.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's have some chick run into him, and then she's like, oh, I secretly love you.
Yeah.
And like, I see where you're coming from though, and that's like
cringe.
I agree.
Cringe. That's way more cringe than the Kylo Ray kiss, which is already cringe.
Yeah.
Not to say that, like Kelly Marie Tran, who's the actress that plays Rose Tico, I feel like you have to say this because she's gotten a lot of hate. I feel like she's a pretty good actress. I just feel like Rose is written extremely poorly.
Character was
so forgettable.
Yeah,
pointless. And the worst part is if Disney had just like let it pass instead of trying to just shove Rose to the forefront of everything, no one would have given a crap.
Yeah.
But Disney was like, you guys hate her, well, we love her, and this is why. And I understand standing by your actresses. It's not the actress's fault, though.
Yeah, don't bully actors. Don't do that.
No, that's awful.
Be good people.
They're just trying to do their job, and they're trying to do the best job. I don't both of the characters that we've talked about the actors have experienced immense bullying. Ahmed Best way more.
Yeah. See? Fix Jar Jar. Just send Jar Jar to therapy.
Send Jar Jar to therapy. Send Rose to therapy. Send her anywhere but back to Canto Bight. That's what I say. You don't even remember Canto Bight.
I remember the casino scene.
It's awful.
I like aesthetically, it's cool. But,
oh my gosh!
But like in the casino, I mean,
it goes nowhere. They have to free the horses, and then they're staring at the horses. Oh, this is the Luke Skywalker movie. I just scared my cat. This is the Luke Skywalker movie, and I don't want to look at your space horses. I want to look at Luke Skywalker. And you know what he's doing? He's Skyping in, and he's dying. And that's how I get to look at Luke Skywalker. Call me a fanboy. That's what I am.
Are you salty?
A little bit, yeah. I just remember sitting in The Last Jedi thinking of like, this is dumb. And I just want what I came to a Star Wars movie for, and it's not to see space horses being freed and to get like some political message that is so on the nose that it makes me want to throw up. Amen.
So next topic. What's the next question?
The next question. This will probably be our last question. And I think that we'll just keep this podcast to answering questions if you're okay with that.
I mean, I'm okay. I had a couple of thoughts. Where are we at right now?
Like 40 minutes.
Oh, wow. Just answering fan questions.
Which is great.
Which is fine. We love you guys.
Is there a story about how Anakin decided to choose Ahsoka as his Padawan? Yes, it's the first Clone Wars movie, if you haven't seen it. Ahsoka was assigned to Anakin. It wasn't like a...
I choose you.
Yeah, it was like an I choose you Pikachu moment thing. I'm trying to look for another one. It looks like we answered most of them. What would you like to see in a Star Wars horror game? I mean, I think the Wampa stuff would be awesome. Like I said... I think Star Wars would be served very well in a horror game, actually.
Yeah.
Let's read one. I also tweeted about people's predictions for The Mandalorian season 2, and there was one comment that I saw getting a lot of thumbs up, and I wanted to read it. Let me find it. But I'm so excited for the second season of The Mandalorian. I cannot wait. It says, Boba and Din will hash it out to only understand that the child is the key to solving a bigger issue. The bigger issue being the return of the Empire. That would be cool. If Boba Fett turned out to be like an aide in later seasons. And he wasn't realizing the importance of Baby Yoda and turns against the Empire. That would be a really awesome story, I think.
I don't know. It may be, like I said earlier, I think it might be Cobb Vanth wearing. It might be because he might.
You don't think Boba's going to be in it at all?
He might be. I mean, the thing that people really point out is when Fennec Shand is getting, somebody comes and picks her up after she's been shot.
You think it's Cobb Vanth?
I think it might be Cobb Vanth because Cobb Vanth gets Boba's armor.
Uh-huh.
But how this is. What, 5 ABY that's happening?
Something like
5. No, 5 years.
It's like
after
7.
It's 5 years after the fall of the Empire. But it's like, where does that? I'm trying to think of where all of that happens. Like, how long does it take Boba Fett to get out of the Sarlacc pit?
He's probably been out for a few years. He's definitely been out for a few years.
Okay, because I mean, I don't know how all that works out. How if Cobb Vanth finds, I don't think that they'll go into that deep of detail, where Cobb Vanth is wearing Boba Fett's armor. I think if Boba Fett shows up, or the Boba Fett armor...
No, I think that they will. I think that they will have Cobb Vanth wear Boba Fett's armor. I
think
do.
so.
Yeah, I think Boba Fett may show up with a different helmet, and you won't know it's Boba Fett.
That would be interesting.
That would be awesome, right?
That'd be super cool.
And then he like would get it later on,
And he's like,
and you have like this big moment where it's like you realize that that's Boba Fett, and that he then like takes his old armor and puts it back on, and it's like this big not deal. Triumphant moment, but it's like a big reveal, like oh my gosh, we're gonna get to see Din Djarin fight Boba Fett, and Boba Fett's back to form.
Yeah, but Din Djarin's way, I don't know, because he's got actual Mandalorian armor.
Yeah,
whereas Boba Fett has knockoff. The Chinese bootleg.
Decades of bounty hunting experience.
That's true too.
If Darth Vader needed somebody caught, called Boba Fett.
He also called a lot of other people too.
Yeah, but I mean, Boba Fett is his number one main. If he needs
he's
to know
he's
who
his wingman.
He needs to know who Luke Skywalker is. You know who he calls? Boba Fett.
Yeah,
that face-off is going to be so cool.
Yeah, I hope Boba Fett is in there. I think having Cobb Vanth in there as well would be super cool. I mean, I don't know how if Cobb Vanth has his armor. It'd be interesting to find out if Boba Fett gets it back or how he gets it back. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Do you think that what's more likely? If the Season 2 trailer for The Mandalorian comes out, do you think it's more likely that they'll show Ahsoka or Boba?
Well, I feel like Ahsoka is more kind of guaranteed. Like, they'll be like, oh, because I feel like we feel a lot more solid that Ahsoka's going to be in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They've already hinted at somebody being there that we're all predicting is Boba Fett. I don't know. Maybe they might do both.
I don't think they'll show both. I think it'll end.
They might have his voice,
or maybe like the end of the first episode. It could be like a staple of the Mandalorian that it's like a big twist, because you know how Baby Yoda's the big twist at the end of the first episode. It could be like a staple where it's like Boba Fett is there or Ahsoka's there.
I could see that, but then there's also those are probably the biggest ones.
Ahsoka and Boba.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and also. Bo-Katan will be really cool to see as well.
Yeah.
But not as cool as the other people, and she wouldn't be like the big twist that you're talking about.
Right. It'd be like, oh, that's Bo-Katan, cool.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, she's in the Clone Wars.
She's not somebody that people have fallen in love with as a character.
I haven't fallen in love with Bo-Katan.
Me
you?
either. Nope, not at all. Nope.
I mean, like, it's cool. It was like, oh, yeah, she was there with previous, yeah, cool.
Stuff. What I think will be really cool is when there's a lightsaber duel. Because there's got to be one.
But between who?
Well, it probably, I would think maybe Moff Gideon and Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka would wipe the floor with him.
Maybe. But you don't know.
I don't see... Ahsoka fights Maul as a teenager and fights Vader.
Well, there's the fact that they're introducing all these... I think it was...
I think Moff Gideon's going to use the Darksaber, but I think that if he dueled Ahsoka, he would get just wrecked. Just wrecked.
I mean, I don't know.
I think Ahsoka will have a big moment where she fights a whole bunch of members of the Empire. But I think that if she ever fought Moff Gideon, it would be game over. It would be GG, thanks for coming. I've enjoyed playing.
I don't know. I think that it might be very interesting because we don't know a whole lot about Moff Gideon's past. And I think
maybe he's a former Inquisitor, but still, like, this is... Ahsoka's kicked the crap out of Inquisitors before.
Yeah.
Ahsoka's like the GOAT. She's like contends with Vader. That don't just happen, bro.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to find out what happened. Like if they might go like touch on that backstory of how she got out of that situation.
Oh, they already do in Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, well, I haven't scrub. The meter keeps going up and they keep flattening back.
It's
up.
okay. You'll get better, my young Padawan.
But I don't know. I don't think that they'll put them in the Mandalorian at least this season. But if we saw Cad Bane,
I think Cad Bane would be so awesome. If you hear meows during this episode, it's my cat Kyla, named after Kylo Ren, but she's a girl.
Hello.
There you
go. She's our producer right now because Kathy is absent.
Yeah, Kyla is our producer. You're so cute. She kind of looks like Kylo Ren, doesn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not as good. Did you see that Kylo Ren cat that came out forever ago?
No.
Scrub.
I'm sorry. Hey, I watch tons of memes, but I don't know about that one. If that's even is that a meme?
I think so.
Is that okay? Yeah, I watch tons of other ones, but some other predictions that people came up with. I think I'll just get these out of the way. You know, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Chewbacca, they're not showing up. I don't think they're not going to show up. No. Lando.
No.
He might.
No.
I could see a smidgen why, because they are thinking about putting out a Lando series.
Right. But so
they might want to just put him in there for a little bit. I could see that, but I don't see him being anything.
I don't see that at all.
Somebody else said Admiral Akbar. I don't think he'll show up either. The ones that seemed more... Somebody else also said IG-88, but IG-88's dead. At this point, that's somebody was like, "Oh, how come IG-11 isn't IG-88?" Because IG-88 was killed by Boba Fett. Some people predicted Zuckuss and 4-LOM, and Bosk and Dengar, like the original, bounty hunter.
Bosk would be so cool.
That'd be cool because they already had his. What's the species called?
Trandoshan.
They already had some of them in there. When Din Djarin fought him off when he was trying to get the child. Baby Yoda.
That would be so cool.
If actual Bosk showed up.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's kind of all I got for...
Well, should we wrap it up?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching this third episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the last one. We talked about lightsaber duels. We haven't uploaded it yet, so we'll see your reaction. You'll be seeing this one about a week after that one. Or listening to this one. Yeah. About a week after that one. Forgive Cody and his scrubness.
Yep.
He's learning.
Yep.
Forgive me and any of the sins that I have transgressed against any of you during the process of this podcast. We love you all. Thank you for your support, and may the Force be with you. Have a great day.